I'm Mike Ford. I've tried cases and done appeals in the Georgia and federal courts for over 4 decades. I understand how laws work and interact. I'm a lawyer, and I'm running for Congress in Georgia's 9th Congressional District. I'm talking facts about House Bill 481, also known as Georgia's Fetal Heartbeat Bill. There are some things that you need to know about 481. Facts, not conjecture or supposition. The law is not just a bill passed by the legislature and signed into law by the governor. Laws interact with each other. Appellate courts interpret our laws and the constitutions. So the law is a combination of what our constitutions and statutes say and how our courts have interpreted them. When the Supreme Court ripped away Roe v. Wade, they left abortion, women's reproductive freedom, and women's health to state law. Georgia's Republican legislature crafted 481 and changed the meaning and understanding of some important words. The words embryo, fetus, infant, and child are blended into a new term, unborn child. So what was an embryo from conception to 9 weeks, hardly a baby or even an infant, and certainly not a child, is now an unborn child. Likewise, fetus, from 9 weeks after conception until birth, is also not a baby or infant, and certainly not a child, but is now an unborn child. Legislators have chosen their language with careful consideration. Unborn child conjures up image of a healthy, happy baby that somehow resides in a woman's womb. That was the legislative intent. According to 481, unborn child means any embryo or fetus at any stage of development. Further, 481 gave full legal recognition to anything unborn, the same as any natural person, any human being. The legislature has given an unborn child all the rights of a born infant, a child, an adolescent, a teenager, and an adult. Once cardiac activity is detected, the unborn is a dependent minor and must be even included in population-based determinations, whatever that may mean. According to 481, abortion happens in Georgia when anyone engages in any act of using, prescribing, or administering any instrument, substance, device, or other means with the purpose to terminate a pregnancy with knowledge that the termination will, with reasonable likelihood, cause the death of an unborn child. It is difficult to imagine what circumstances could exist when any attempt to terminate a pregnancy would not be intended to cause the death of an unborn child, because that is the purpose, the sole purpose of terminating a pregnancy. We will revisit these implications shortly. There are exceptions. It is not an abortion if performed to remove a dead, unborn child caused by a spontaneous abortion or an ectopic pregnancy. Likewise, accidental or unintentional abortions are allowed without criminal responsibility. Abortion is also permitted when necessary to prevent death or irreversible impairment of a bodily function of the pregnant female. This medical emergency exception does not include mental illness or emotional distress, even if the woman might kill or maim herself because of such illness. Abortion is also permitted when survivability of the unborn child is unlikely. Likewise, a normal spontaneous abortion, miscarriage, or stillbirth that results in the death of an unborn child is not an abortion. In the case of rape or incest, abortion is permitted in certain circumstances. The unborn child must be 20 weeks or less, and an official police report must have been filed alleging the offense. Who must file the report in the case of a minor child is unknown. When it must be filed is not stated. Abortion is also permitted when a physician reasonably determines that the pregnancy is medically futile. There are limitations on when, where, and how abortions may be performed. Abortions after the first trimester must be performed in a licensed hospital, surgical center, or health facility licensed by the Department of Community Health. An abortion may only be performed by a licensed physician. The health records of the woman, according to HB 481, must be available to the district attorney where the abortion occurs or where the woman resides. The physician is also required to make reports detailing all the particulars of the abortion and the procedure. The Republican legislators addressed support for the pregnant woman. 481 helpfully requires paternal support for the person who must remain pregnant. The sole requirement for paternal support is the amount of direct medical and pregnancy-related expenses. Subsistence during the pregnancy is left to the pregnant female. Let's talk about how this impacts pregnant females. After fetal cardiac activity can be detected, an abortion cannot be elected. If rape or incest is involved, no abortion can be had after 20 weeks, and then only if a police report has been filed. Abortion for a medical emergency can only be had to prevent death or irreversible impairment of a major bodily function. Until death is imminent, no relief is afforded to the pregnant female. No help for mental illness is allowed, even if the woman is likely to kill or maim herself. Abortion is permitted when the survivability of the unborn child is unlikely. Also, if a natural, spontaneous abortion, miscarriage, or stillbirth resulting in the death of an unborn child happens, it is not considered an abortion. Who makes that determination? We don't know. There are criminal consequences relating to abortions. If any person uses, prescribes, or administers any instrument, substance, device, or other means with the purpose to terminate a pregnancy, that is a prohibited abortion. Worse, if the unborn child dies, the consequences are the same as if an adult dies. Causing the death of an unborn child can be a crime. A crime happens when a statute is violated by an intentional act or an act of criminal negligence, including an act that shows a reckless disregard for the safety of others. Thus, things that happen to an unborn child may be crimes. We are presumed to intend the consequences of our acts. If we're involved in the commission of a crime, we're a party to the crime and may be charged with and convicted of the crime. Aiding in the commission of a crime makes you a party to the crime, even if you did not directly commit the crime. You may be indicted, tried, convicted, and punished for the crime, even if the person who actually committed the crime is not prosecuted or convicted, or is not amenable to justice because they are not in the state, or has even been acquitted. You can be charged with attempt to commit a crime if you take any step toward the commission of that crime. You can be charged with conspiracy to commit a crime if you agree to help with something that is a crime, and anyone does anything to complete the act which is a crime. So, you can be charged with murder if you cause the death of another human being. You can be charged with felony murder if you violate any law and another is killed, irrespective of malice. You can be sentenced to death, life without parole, imprisonment for life, or even 30 years for second-degree murder. So how does this apply to you? If a woman purchases a morning after pill, that alone can be attempted murder even if she's not pregnant at that time. Taking a substance for stomach ulcers can induce abortion. Are you planning for an abortion? Are you planning a murder? If you cause a miscarriage, you can be charged with murder. Expect government scrutiny if there is a miscarriage. Remember, the DA can get your private medical records. Planning to leave the state to have your abortion? That's murder even if it happens in another state. It's conspiracy to commit murder. Perhaps the only solution is to leave Georgia and never return. Expect women's health records to be examined together with their internet history and telephone history. Planning to help a friend? Don't. Conspiracy to commit murder. A discussion about what to do if pregnant? Conspiracy. Taking a friend to the airport so she can go out of state? Don't if she plans an abortion. Will the state patrol start checking women leaving Georgia at the border? Who knows? 481 says that unless you get aborted before cardiac activity, you are going to have to carry your pregnancy to term, unless you meet one of the limited exceptions. If anyone even tries to talk with you about your pregnancy, it may be a crime. Don't think it can't happen? It can. So, this year, there's a lot on the ballot. It's not just about democracy. It's not just about freedom. It's not just about individual civil rights. It's about the very essence of what it means to be an American and enjoy all the promise of America. Don't stand by and watch your future become a nightmare. Vote for those who will protect your values, rights, and freedoms. I'm one of them. Vote for me, Mike Ford, for Georgia's 9th Congressional District. Thank you.